But Cady was literally homeschooled in Africa.
Oh, Cady's from Africa. Her mom died. Her boyfriend gay. There's a bunch of stuff going on.
Everybody's getting their license. She's not.
One of the main plot points is that Cher is falling in love with her stepbrother.
No, one of the main plot. One of the main. Hi guys, I'm Courtney Revolution, and I'm a pop culture commentator, and I love reality TV a little bit too much.
Hey, I'm Jade Catapretta. I'm a host, a comic, and a poet.
Oh my God, I didn't know that about you.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I have a book coming out.
I'm Monica Lumba. I'm a comedian, performer. I have no sisters and a known dyslexic. Wait, why'd you laugh?
Why'd you laugh like that?
Sorry. Hi, I'm Melissa Sabo. I'm a comedian and I like to sing.
Not this. And welcome to Rivals. This is the pop culture discussion show where we are pitting two iconic things from the 90s and early 2000s against each other in order to find out which is better than the other.
Who did it better?
Who done did it
Who
better?
done did
Who
it
is
better?
more iconic?
The ultimate showdown.
Who did you relate to more?
Yeah, who's more legendary?
What posters did you have on your wall?
Yeah, and we're battling it out, but it's really up to you to pick the winner. So if you're at home and you're thinking, I have an opinion, write it down. For once, we're asking people to comment.
Yeah,
For
we
once!
want to hear what you have to say. Your voice matters on this show.
And so you decide the winner, and then each episode we tell you who the winner is based on what you said.
So with that, how should we reveal the winner of last week's episode?
Yeah.
Which was Lizzie McGuire versus That's So Raven. The winner is That's So Raven.
Oh,
Won.
I knew
Well,
it.
yes.
Yeah. It really isn't a competition. I mean, Raven literally changed lives, and Lizzie McGuire had a pimple.
Yeah, Raven Baxter
Pimples
was
are
that
hard.
girl.
Pimples are hard. We didn't have star
Lizzie
patches back then.
McGuire might have had to go on acting.
Today, we're going to talk about these two iconic teen dream movies. We're talking Mean Girls versus Clueless.
As of.
Wow.
And when it comes to these two teams, me and Jade are going to be Team Clueless, and Alyssa and Monica are going to be Team Mean Girls.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's really important when you draw things to your mouth.
What?
Oh.
Not this.
Okay, before we get into it, we are going to do a little disclaimer, which is that these two movies are epic, and all four of us kind of love both of them. So it's really hard to pit them against each other. It's apples and oranges, but honestly, that's our freaking job on Rivals, okay? To
Yeah.
pit them against each other. And a lot of these are our opinions, right? Allegedly. But we have so much fun kind of diving in and talking about our experiences, watching Mean Girl in the theater, watching Clueless on the plane. So we're really excited to get into it. And
Let's jump right in. Let's jump
Let's jump right on into it.
Okay, let's set the stage. It's 1995. I just moved to America. I don't speak English yet. There's a huge snowstorm that just happened. Our neighbor invited us over for hot cocoa, but cocoa means poop in Portuguese, so my sister pushed her down. We got in trouble. We had to apologize. But then later in the day, we were allowed to watch a new teen movie that just came out called Clueless.
really?
I didn't speak English, so I didn't really understand, but the fashions made a brand and it impacted me in a very, very fulfilling way. And even now I'm wearing pleated things.
And we look good.
We look good. It's all about fitted lines. So that movie made a very big impact on me. And I know you guys know I'm going to say this, but it's why I'm a lesbian.
It made you gay.
Clueless
Wait, you saw Clueless at your house or in the theaters?
In the theaters.
I also saw Clueless in the theaters.
Yeah, in the theaters.
Wow.
Yeah, and I honestly did not know what was going on, but you can kind of tell because it's such a easily told story. You see the montage happening and you see fights happening. And
So the first time you ever saw that movie, you didn't speak English?
I didn't speak English.
I love that for you.
Is so amazing.
I remember watching Ninja Turtles and we were like, Mom, Dad, can we please eat pizza like they do? Because in Brazil, we eat it with a fork and knife.
So
I did not know that.
So
Yeah.
when you were watching it, was there a scene that really stood out to you that you were like
100% the computer where she's choosing her outfit.
Oh my God.
And she's flipping through the whole closet. I just remember looking at all her clothes. I remember thinking the Valley was a really special place. And
it is.
It is.
Okay.
And just seeing high school like that, seeing so many people in their high school too was really prolific for me. And then, there's some weird stuff with the stepbrother, but we get through it. And I love the movie so much.
You know what? Let's break down on what the movie actually is, right?
Yeah.
So we have our heroine, Cher Horowitz. She lives in Beverly Hills. She's the icon. She's the legend. She's one of the most popular girls in school. She has her best friend, Dionne, who's her neighbor.
Love
Big hat like
Dionne.
Dr.
Love
Seuss.
Dionne.
Love
Shout out
Dionne.
to Stacey
They're
Dash,
friends
playing that
because
character.
they like that everybody's jealous of them. That's what brought them
Very
together.
that. Very that. And they're both named after singers of the past who now do infomercials.
Love
Shout
that
out to
line.
that fact
Yes.
as well.
That's literally a VO in the movie. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So they're going to school and they meet up with a new student named Ty, who's from the East Coast. She's a little bit crunchy, a little bit
She's a little
sloppy.
stoner.
Very that. And we kind of see Cher sort of try to play matchmaker. We learn about her values and how sometimes her actions don't exactly match up with her words. But throughout the film, we see her on this journey of like self-discovery, I think actual genuine like self-love and confidence. And I think that that is probably the biggest part of the movie is the self-confidence outside of the fashion. You know what I mean? 'Cause the fashion was
The fashion was fashioning.
clearly we're inspired.
Yeah.
Okay? So
Yeah,
I
the
felt like
fashion
Clueless was just
crazy.
5-star film.
And
Yeah.
Brittany
And I mean-
Murphy, I mean, she was iconic on that. We love
We
someone,
also have
an
to-
underdog that then becomes like kind of the mean girl and then gets, put back in her place and then has to go back to where she was. We
Also,
love
special
that.
shout out to Cher's daddy.
I
Yeah.
love
Shout out to
it.
Mel.
Okay,
I love
You
him.
like the dad too?
I love
Yeah,
the
I
dad.
know. I love it. I have a thing for dads.
I know. Sorry.
he-
In the comment, I think
Not
we're
the
on number
daddy
4.
hunter.
Like, how many daddies has Alyssa liked? Do you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I want a montage of all the dads that
It's a
she's
brand.
gay
But
for.
also it is, yeah. But Cher's dad is like, it is, she says like, daddy, like I feel like, and he's he's an amazing actor. He's been in like everything. I love,
Yep.
how do you say his last name?
I forget
Dan Hedaya.
Hidayda?
Anybody know?
Hidayda?
Dan Hedaya, we love you.
Also, I
And-
feel like
yeah.
he deals with her well. Like, when Paul Rudd's like, "What is she wearing?" He goes, "Cher, get in here."
Yeah,
Like he's always
yeah.
like, "Cher." She's like pacing outside
Yeah,
his door. He's
Sadie?
like,
Yeah.
"Cher, get in here," and then
Yeah.
kind of like says something nice. Like, but it's like hard hitted. He's
Yeah,
like a
because
lawyer.
she didn't grow up with a mom, and that's really hard.
She passed away during a
Yeah.
routine liposuction, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Clueless versus
What y'all got?
we've got, let's set the scene. It's 2004.
Yep.
We've got Mark Waters making his directorial debut. Actually, I don't know if this
I
is
was
his
like,
first
who is Mark Waters?
Written by Tina Fey
Tina
and
Fey.
Rosalind Wiseman.
Which I didn't
Okay.
know. I thought it was only Tina Fey.
Produced by Lorne Michaels.
Yep.
Our God.
SNL guy.
God.
SNL guy.
And this movie follows Cady Heron, who
I look
recently-
like her today. See
yeah,
the-
Monica's
I have
wearing
the green,
Cady.
like
Caddy, as Janice would
homeschooled.
call her.
Caddy.
and she is a homeschooled girl. She is from Africa. She lived there with her parents, who are.
She is
And
white.
it's not
Yeah.
a religious thing. She's not a missionary kid.
There's a
and,
couple of things that don't hold up about both of these movies. So
That's the thing
yeah.
that's-
So
you're
she's
caught up
going to
on?
school
Okay.
for the first time, and she's like, kind of a hot teen
Yep.
going to school for the first time, and then she
huge tits.
gets introduced to this school. She's never been there before. It's a bit of a fish out of a water situation. She becomes friends with like Janice Ian, played by Lizzie Kaplan.
Lizzie Kaplan.
Lizzie Kaplan.
But then Regina George, Rachel McAdams, and her squad, the Plastics, kind of take a liking to Cady Heron. So then they become friends with her, and Janice Ian is like, let's do this thing, let's do this game, because she doesn't like Regina George.
No, they don't become friends with her. She becomes friends with them because of their plan.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
they
what I'm
in-
saying.
yeah, but they invite her to the
invite
table
her to the
at
table. They
first.
invite her to
That's
sit
the
with
first
them.
scene.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they invite her, and then like during that time, that's whenever Janice is like, well, let's do this plan. We're gonna like ruin her life because, and then in this process, Cady discovers some things about herself. Okay, and she has a real come to Jesus moment at the very end
Mhm.
when she, a lot of stuff is happening. We're gonna get into it. We're
Yeah.
gonna get into it. But this movie, it is barrel of laughs. Every line is a hit line.
It's
Mhm.
really honestly
One of the
that's
most
so
quoted,
crazy.
one of the most quoted movies I think of our generation.
Yep.
And every character hits so
I
hard.
agree.
Okay, and upon rewatching it too, kind of into Tim Meadows. Also a little bit attracted to Tim
Loved.
Meadows.
We know your type.
He is so funny. He
Yeah.
is so funny. Everything he said, like I don't crack up like LOL that often. I was like, I've seen this movie a million times, but I like did another rewatch of it, and I am on the floor laughing at the like everything.
Tina Fey is like a comedy genius.
She's a genius.
She really is.
Yeah.
Like the hit
So
rate
good.
of all the jokes, and it's every minute there's a different joke, a different bit. Physical, like cerebral, like she's incredible.
And there's nothing like it at the time.
This movie
Yeah.
cemented Lindsay Lohan, I think, in pop culture history. This movie, like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is,
Yeah.
and the same can be said of Alicia Silverstone.
I
in
agree.
Clueless. I think that's why it's just like, wow, this is going to be a crazy episode. If you are a movie head like me and everybody here, I will call myself a cinephile. Get in the comments.
Come on, cinephile.
Already, before we get
It's
into
pretty
it.
crazy, like the casting of this, because I feel like Rachel McAdams is like an incredible actress, like drama mainly, and we have her like with the comedic timing of Regina George, it was like incredible. Like
She
originally
played it so
Lindsay
serious.
Lohan
She
wanted
did.
to be Regina. Tried to be her, according to Tina Fey, on some podcast with Conan or something.
Because wasn't Rachel McAdams going to be the Lindsay Lohan
main
character?
character.
But then
Absolutely
I guess the
not.
chemistry on set, like Lindsay was like intimidated by Rachel McAdams, and so the dynamic
Which
switched.
I would be too.
I was going to say, I wonder why you guys think that is. Why do you
Yeah.
think Lindsay was intimidated by Rachel like that?
Because Rachel's like a very serious actress. She probably carried herself in like a very sure way.
Hold on, but
I would have
Rachel,
been like, I did Parent Trap. I played two parts.
Yeah, Rachel
I don't
McAdams.
know Rachel McAdams.
Rachel McAdams before this was in The Hot Chick, and she's not in that movie that much because Rob Schneider, of course, it's when he switches bodies.
He was in the panties, right?
Which, you know what? Actually, it's a really good movie. But
no.
Rob Schneider is
Rob Schneider, another crush
So
of hers.
Rachel McAdams isn't really. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Rachel McAdams isn't really in that movie that much, but she does kind of. We see a little bit of her being this like mean girl in that movie, like a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that they probably saw that and they're like, oh, she can do
Or
this.
maybe just energetically, she was like
But
intimidating.
here's the thing: you
yeah.
gotta have the blonde be the most. Like that's what the '90s and the Y2K was all about. It was the blonde was the girl.
It was like either you were dumb or
Yeah.
you were mean.
Yes.
If you were
Yeah.
blonde.
Yeah. Or you were the hottest person ever.
And there wasn't any movies like that. And then also Clueless, we were reading this. Fun fact, it was based on a Jane
Jane Austen.
Austen.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Which is cool, which is like they were doing a lot of revivals of like in the 90s of like
Romeo
and
and
Juliet. Yeah. And I never knew that, but now it does make sense. It's like that's age-old story of a girl living in Beverly Hills.
I
Timeless.
Timeless.
I saw Mean Girls in theater with my friend Leah. Shout out Leah. And I called her this weekend and was like telling her that this was the episode. And I was telling her it was like Clueless versus Mean Girl. And she was like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
Like, how are
Yeah.
you going to compare? Like, they're from different decades.
Okay.
Like, they're almost. And then I was like, yeah, that's true. But I was like, which do you quote more? Like, which are you like, you know, I need to rewatch that one scene. I'm like quoting that one thing. And she was like, yeah, this is
Wait,
gonna be a
I
really
think-
hard
I didn't-
episode.
That's hard, but quote-wise, I do think
Mm.
Clueless had like very short and sweet and like memorable. I mean, Rolling with the Homies, As If.
I'm thinking of like full scenes
Yeah, full
versus more
scenes.
versus like quotables from like Mean Girls. Like I'm thinking of like the freeway scene. I'm thinking of like Dionne opening the door at the Valley party.
Well,
and
we're
Murray's,
gonna get-
Murray's
we're
like
gonna
getting
get-
his
Wait,
hair
Courtney,
done.
did you saw Clueless in movie theaters?
I did. I was
Okay.
literally 3 years old. My older cousin took me.
Oh my god, you were 3? Okay, I didn't
It was-
see
it was, like,
any of
such an
these
impact
movies
on
in
Not
the
you
theaters.
revealing your age
I-
right now.
Yeah.
I
Elder
wasn't-
millennial.
He's 17 years
My
old.
dad was too cheap, so we never really went to the movie theaters. But I remember when Mean Girls was officially in the like 99-cent bin at Blockbuster is
I know
when I
that's
was
right.
able to watch
Period.
it. And so I saw it a little bit, you know, I was behind my peers a little bit. But man, when I saw it in my basement on my TV, it was so good. And that's
maybe-
how I watched Clueless too.
No, I love just like a satire. Like movies were not sort of that way in the 90s, I feel like. And I just remember just like, I don't know, I romanticized Los Angeles already so much, I think, since I was like a kid in Brazil. So just to see this like kind of lifestyle and these kids are like already driving car, even though they're not supposed to, like just interacting, going to parties, like a party in the Valley. And now I know, like knowing the references as an adult, I was laughing out loud.
I
at
could
some of this
not
stuff.
believe that Cher lived in Beverly Hills and she was like going to a party in the Valley.
In the
and,
Valley.
her dad was like, you need to be home in 20
She's like,
minutes
"It's
with
gonna
like
be
helicopters
longer."
flying
Yeah.
around in the background. I was like, what?
The line that made me laugh out loud was like, it's almost as random as a Pauly Shore movie. Like, so good.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that was
Pauly Shore
so
was like a
funny.
major celebrity at the
Yeah.
time, which is so cool. Like, looking back
I
on
want
it.
to ask you guys something. Which main character of these movies did you relate to more? Did you relate to Cher Horowitz from Clueless more, or did you relate to her copycat, Cady Herring from Mean Girls? Let us know in the comments. We're curious. A little bit nosy.
Okay, so Cady was like this
Cady.
relatable, like had been homeschooled, like didn't know a lot of pop culture. I think there's like a joke in the movie where she like doesn't know a band, doesn't know a TV show, whatever. It's just being like thrown to the wolves in this way. And so it was like fun to live through her POV of this like toxic American high school, which fun fact, it's based on New Trier, which is like this rich high school outside of Chicago. Do
Oh,
you
I
guys
didn't know
I didn't know
that.
that.
I know a couple
Wow.
people that went there and everyone was like, it's New Trier. It's like, who cares?
It wasn't. It seemed like a bit. It seemed like a diverse school.
It did.
L-O-L.
There were some black people in there. They were unfriendly, but they were
They're
there.
explaining all the different lunch tables, and they're like cool Asians, nerdy Asians.
Oh God.
The hot. But that's what they say in the movie.
Yeah.
No, they
I was like,
do.
wow, what? They do.
You know, I
Oh,
know they do.
I thought you said they didn't. Anyways, but so Cady was, she was relatable. She was like kind of, it was interesting because, she didn't know anything because she had grown up in a totally different country, different culture. I moved to a new school, just like Cady. And there was this like nice girl who was sort of like, I guess, a nerd. And she invited me to sit with her at lunch. And I was like, I guess. And then a few days later, I got invited. And it was literally the popular kids. This was like an elementary school. They were called the Cool Club. And they invited me to sit with them at lunch. And I'm not joking.
I know.
So and then I was like, I dropped that other girl like I dropped her so fast.
Oh my God.
You can't even begin.
Dropped her ass.
I
I
was
said
like,
drop.
I'll be going with the popular girl. So like that's why it's like Cady was relatable because she was just trying to figure it out, and she was like, okay, these kind of nerdy people are inviting me, but I got the popular girls inviting me. Okay, I guess I'll go along with it, but. Anyways, I relate to that because it's like, what are you gonna do? You're just
So
trying
y'all
to
both
fit
turn
in.
y'all back on your friends.
That poor girl that's sitting by itself.
I did. I was like, what do you want me to do? And I remember like that nerdy girl. She was like, somebody once said that she was really into horror, and then I for a long time did believe that all the bad stuff was happening to me because of her doing like a hoax on me. Anyway.
Fun facts.
Sorry.
If you're that girl and you're watching
I
right
related
now,
to that. I could not relate to Cher. I'm sorry, but like it was cool. I love
obviously,
Clueless.
yeah.
I love Clueless, but I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm not rich. I don't get everything I desire. I don't know what's going
I
on.
like that they were always like kind of smiling at themselves. Like even though they were like portraying this character, it was always a little bit of a wink, like we're making fun of this and we're making fun of like capitalism and sort of like this way of life, and like her problems are so big. She's like walking
was
around
so
Beverly Hills
confident.
buying like a $2,000 suit, you know?
I also just didn't care
really.
about that
Yeah.
stuff in like middle school.
cared.
Like I didn't care about fashion. I
Yeah.
didn't care about like tall socks and skirts and whatever. Like I wasn't like, ooh, her closet. Like I just didn't. Give
Oh,
a
I
shit.
cared
As
so
a homosexual,
hard.
that was
I
exactly
cared
what
so,
I cared about.
I cared so hard about the like that little. Let's just have a moment with the looks because like iconic that Calvin Klein little white dress.
Oh
and
my
she's like,
God.
of course I'm putting
Ugh.
something on over Daddy, and it's like a see-through jacket. Even
Me.
like the gay boyfriend, his
Shout out to
outfit.
Christian,
Christian.
who clearly thought that he lived in 1950.
I
think
love
that
it.
was yeah.
Yeah, the evil girl who had the Wendy's braids.
Oh my God,
Amber?
Amber.
She's like, I can't do.
She's
gym
an outfit
because-
copier.
Yeah,
We don't like her.
yeah, she
Amber
bites.
also is great in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Shout out Sabrina the
Oh,
Teenage
Bye,
I love
Alyssa
that
Donovan. Not this.
I loved. We should do
Sorry.
that show. I love that show.
I do want to
She's
say
really good
this.
in that.
I really liked Cher because even though Cady was like trying to figure it out, right? She moved literally from a different continent. Cher grew up in Beverly Hills and she thought that she knew everything and about everyone. But I think through the movie, she starts to like question things. And I think that people that know that they don't know everything are some of the smartest people. And I think that at the end of the movie, I mean, she got all her friends back. She got her man. Let's
Let's
Wait,
open
wait.
up that ...
No, because
Let's
you know
open
what?
up
This
that
is a
...
great moment. Like listening to your inner voice, it's a lot like Lizzie McGuire. And if you guys haven't seen that episode, you should check it out. Raven versus Lizzie McGuire.
Ooh.
Just saying.
But
Slow.
let's double click into that ... because for those of you listening that do not know, one of the main plot points is that Cher is falling in love with her stepbrother.
No, one of the main
Wait,
plot
wait.
points is Cher couldn't find no man, and she was trying to get a man for everybody else.
She didn't want to
and
date
then
high
she
school boys.
then she realized the person that loved her just happened to be right underneath her own roof unfortunately for her.
As her stepbrother. And then we're all cool with it.
Ex-stepbrother. And their parents were not even married that long.
And he had married multiple women before, and they were married for like a month or something.
So they were not even related.
And she was 16.
And he is young Paul Rudd.
He wasn't 21.
Yeah, he was in college.
No, he was in college, which means he could be 19.
No, but he was like applying to law school.
No, it was his first year in college.
Really?
I thought so. I hope so.
As much as I want to think that this is wrong, I think it's awesome.
Alyssa, no.
No, that's right, Alyssa.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but Paul Rudd is the dreamiest.
So beautiful.
The dreamiest.
Alyssa, if you had a stepbrother
He's Jewish.
living in your house.
Oh, I love him.
He doesn't live in
He's
the house.
an ex-stepbrother.
He doesn't live
He's
in the
not her
house.
stepbrother anymore.
In the comments,
He's
please.
so cute.
Who has a better love interest? Aaron Samuels? Aaron
Chop.
freaking Samuels
Chop.
or a stepbrother? Okay, I don't care that he's
Or
Paul.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Call it what it is.
Sorry, I
Aaron
gotta go
Samuels.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
Over
Paul
Aaron
Rudd.
Samuels?
That youthful skin. Paul ain't aged
Okay.
today.
I want to get into some of these
Yeah,
moments.
let's get into some of the scenes.
Well, here's the other thing too. For me, Katie's story isn't really about Aaron Samuels. Like that's like a little part of it.
Yeah.
The thing that's so cool about Mean Girls is it really helps you navigate like female friendships, which are very challenging.
Did you find that Mean Girls was realistic in that sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was absolutely realistic. And I had never seen a movie done quite like that, where it got it. That's what I'm saying. Like it got it in a way that was like, whoa. Whereas Clueless is great. It's fun. It's entertaining, but it's not like the dynamics and the interpersonal relationships between everybody. It's just so different. It's not as realistic and grounded, I think.
I
as
feel
Mean
like they
Girls.
showed an aspect of it which is real, which is like she was out to do things for herself, right? Like this makeover was for herself, and then she kind of saw it back, like turn on her.
Yeah, she wanted to like build Ty up, in
Yeah.
my opinion, how I perceive it. Is she wanted to build Ty up to be as popular as she was, which is self-serving. And she saw that sort of backfire when she realized, oh, if I make another version of myself, that version of myself might mirror back what I desire, which was Ty fell in love with Josh first.
Which is so like transformative of a thought. Like it's like such a good thought for kids to learn. Like, wait a minute, maybe I'm not angry about this. I'm angry about something else. And like finding that moment when she figures out that she's in love with Josh, she's like, I like Josh. And the fountains are going
Cher had to
off.
take that ass to the mall.
Oh, I love that
funniest-
moment.
Well, my favorite moment though of Clueless is whenever it was after Ty had the guys like held her over the balcony at the mall. And then Cher's like, well, when I was held at gunpoint, and nobody
sorry, excuse me.
It's so good. He's like, I'm sorry. And then Cher's like
Such a
that
good
to me,
moment.
that is my favorite moment
Yeah.
of Cher. Like the way that she's so like, I guess nobody wants to hear about when I was held at gunpoint.
Gunpoint.
It's so-
And he had a gun to her head.
I love that
In
they
North Hollywood.
Her
She didn't even
experience.
freak. She just goes straight to the payphone. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, a payphone?
like no, wait, okay. Whenever she's like,
She's like, oh.
It wasn't a liar.
That is the greatest. Yeah.
She's so beautiful.
Like I'm saying though, it's like funny and it's silly, but to me, Mean Girls captured the reality of something in a way that it captivated our generation, because I think that we had never seen something so realistic and so comedic at the same time. Whereas Clueless is like, okay, I don't think a lot of people relate to being a super rich person in Beverly Hills and being like, oh no, my dress. Whereas like Mean Girls just sort of,
Yeah.
it was
just
coming
hit
of
that-
age, but
Let
it
me
was
a-
like
let-
adult funny.
Let me
It
ask
was
you this. Do you
crazy.
think the theme of like discovering that you don't know anything is something that's universal? Because I felt like the point that you're making is like Mean Girls super appealed to like women, and it showed women XYZ, where I feel like, yeah, Clueless was like led by like a dumb blonde girl, but I felt like a lot of the themes were like universal, which is maybe why
Yeah, she wanted to get a man.
She wanted to get a man.
like-
She wanted her friends to find love.
Yeah.
She wanted her
like
grades to be
perfection
better.
in all
Yeah.
forms. She wanted to like negotiate her way out of grades because her dad was a lawyer. Like
Yeah.
there were so many things about Clueless that I felt were like universal. It was very clear that like
Yeah, and that
I feel like
even
Clueless is
rich
like a
people.
slice of life almost, of like this very specific thing, whereas Mean Girls was like a take on society and like a
As a
take on like
whole.
high school and like those female relationships.
I
that
love the
Alyssa was talking
animalistic
about.
forms
Like
of it.
that-
Like that
there
scene
were
where
a
they're
lot
all
of
like
furs.
animals and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, what a
that's
crazy thing
crazy.
to write in a
Yeah.
script, and people would be like, okay, yeah, so now we're gonna have like all these actors, like
Pretend
literally
to be
that one
animals.
scene where they're like at the they're like in Africa, this would be at the
Yeah.
watering hole.
Yeah.
Problematic, whatever.
Yeah.
But the two, like she jumps on the other girl and they land
Like,
in the
"Ah!"
fountain. Like
It's
that's
so
fucking nuts.
good.
Or
It's
the
nuts.
scene after like the burn
Yeah.
book comes out, the hallways. Like I'm like, in rewatching that, I was just like marveling at the
We were all.
acting.
I had a Mean Girl group. We were called Miss Jack, Molly, Shelley, Jade, Ashley, Carolyn, Kate.
Oh my
That's
god!
a
so there was
that's a
6
big
of you.
group.
There were 6 of us. It was a big group, and then it was just Jack.
You know
We
what?
cut the two up.
Jade,
the two
I am
front
not
ones
shocked
up.
to hear that you were
But guess
popular.
what? Guess what? Guess what? First, I didn't speak any English. And then I learned English, and then I was like, "Get out of my fucking way!" Like,
That's
it,
Wow.
really funny.
but
When
I was
I
all
was-
very. I was still kind.
When I got to be popular for like maybe 2 years.
When you had the gum.
Yeah, when I was popular for 2 years,
you had
I'll
the
never
Spice Girls
forget.
gum.
Well,
I'm
I was a
screaming.
lackey. I was like a Gretchen Wieners. I was like, there was a head girl.
Really?
I was a lackey.
Yeah.
So there was like a head girl, and she was in charge of the playground, like tag, who could play tag. So people, instead of asking her because they were too afraid, this happened.
Yeah.
They would come to me and they would say, "Hey, Alyssa, am I allowed to play tag with you guys today?"
That just means you had
And
the better,
then
you had
I-
the better energy.
One time, this is a friend of mine now. We're like best friends.
Yeah.
She said that she went up to me. She said, "Alyssa, can I go play?" And I go, "Hold on, let me go ask blank."
Yeah.
And she said that I turned around, I didn't move, and then I went back to her and I said, "She said no." And that was like,
And
that's
sometimes it be like that.
Yeah, and she was like, "You didn't ask her," and I was like, "Sorry." But that's
Yeah.
like in Mean Girls, whenever Regina kisses Aaron Samuels and like
Oh, yeah.
like Katie sees it. And then the next day, Gretchen, like Regina has Gretchen tell Katie, "I'm so sorry. Like she was trying to get you guys back together. Like she was trying to get
Yeah.
you and Aaron with her." And that's like so funny to me. Like that moment when I was like, "Yeah, get your lackey to tell her." I
Yeah.
love that. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that. It's
I think the best
accurate.
part of Mean Girls is obviously Amy Poehler.
Oh my god!
They
As
tried
the
to
cool mom.
They try to redo it in the musical, and
Mm.
it was just too on the nose for me. Like just the way they played it so realistically, and like we know those people. I had that friend. Like
yeah.
we know those people. Like her boobs are so hard. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't feel anything. And
I also
I
love when you
love
walk
it.
in and you see the little
Kylie.
sister.
yeah, the
she's
little
like-
sister.
Girls
Yeah,
Gone
That's
Wild.
me.
All of the actors were great. Like the Katie's parents, Anna Gustire, and the guy who plays the janitor on Scrubs. I don't know his name. They're great
Oh,
too.
my God.
Wait,
And
oh yeah.
Tim Meadows. I know I mentioned this, but Tim Meadows as the principal, funniest character. I
Yeah.
think,
Also,
in the
Tina
They're
movie.
together in the
Fey.
musical after.
Oh yeah.
They end up together.
Tim
That's really
Meadows
funny.
and Tina Fey.
Yeah.
Also, Tina Fey was in that Incredible as like the pusher, and she has said that she's like, I literally was like surrounded by incredible actors and was so intimidated. And she was like, I literally just like got in, said my lines, and like got out. And in rewatching that, I'm
Wow.
like, oh my god, that's so funny. You can tell she's just like
She's so good.
I'm getting through it. And she
Well,
was like, that was a
Rachel
boot camp for
McAdams
me.
is like an incredible. Did you see that film where she played a Hasidic Jew?
Oh yeah,
That's a
I did
lesbian.
not.
That sex scene.
Oh my god,
That's the reason why I'm gay.
Oh my god.
That's the reason.
Well, audience, if you're watching and you're sticking around with us, let us know what your favorite scenes are from Clueless and Mean Girls, because we want to know if your favorite scenes are our favorite scenes.
So I will give that to Mean Girls.
Wait, hold on. What side are you on, girl? Because it's Scene Clueless over here.
I know,
Alicia
like-
Silverstone.
No, I know. Look, I'll go back to Clueless, but I'm just saying, like, there's Mean Girls has like a lot of good moments.
Yeah.
I'll give it to them.
And thank you for
Name
giving
'em.
it to us because
I
Mean
do
Girls
want
iconic.
to, yeah, I want to
Let's talk
get
about the
into
best
like, I want to
moments.
get into some of the best, your guys' favorite moments and scenes. I
From
wanna hear-
Clueless?
Yeah, I want to hear what.
Very much the freeway scene.
oh my god.
So basically, Cher and her friends are in the car. They're driving off. Cher has had a flop of an evening with Christian, who she does not realize is a homosexual. And Dionne's boyfriend, Murray, is explaining to her, like, girl, all these different signs are there, like Oscar Wilde, ticket holding friend of Dorothy. And all of a sudden, there's this big, huge truck. Oh, wait, it was Dionne driving.
Dionne's
Dionne's
driving.
driving. She
Yeah.
has that
Yeah, yeah.
flower net thing on her
Yeah.
head, Stacey Dash. And there's this huge tractor trailer like driving behind them. She's freaking out. Murray's freaking out. There's a scream. There's braces. And then we learn that Dionne loses her virginity to Murray, which is something that Cher is sort of like the outsider on in her friend group, is that she still has her virginity. My favorite scene.
You're
I
a
love that
virgin
scene.
who
What do they
can't
call him?
drive.
Yeah, you're just a virgin who can't drive. Wait, did you want this on
Way
the side?
harsh
It doesn't
tie.
matter.
Okay.
It flips over.
Wait, so when he says that he's gay, what did he call it?
Cake Boy. I hadn't heard that since this movie or before this movie.
I know, Cake Boy.
That was a good one.
Cake. Fruit
What?
cake.
Oh yeah, fruitcake was a big thing. Be like, he is a fruitcake.
He's a fruit cake.
Cake
Also,
Boy is like
fruitcakes are
slang.
delicious.
Are they?
Yeah, I love a panettone.
They look ugly.
I've ne-
Panettone. Oof,
Oh, it's
no.
delicious with a little butter. Anybody else? Sound off in the comments. Where my panettones up?
Fruitcake.
I love
Fruitcake
Really?
is
It's
notoriously
delicious.
a dish that you don't want to get.
I love
Yeah,
it. In
like,
Brazil, it's like a really expensive gift that you give people, panettone.
Really?
yeah.
Okay, wait. Should I tell you my favorite scene really
Yeah,
quick? Sorry.
yeah.
Okay. I think my favorite scene is like that iconic walking through school, and the guy like comes to hug her, and she like throws.
Oh,
him
when she's talking
off.
about boys from
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
I think that's my favorite. And then also when she gets robbed, and he's like, "Get down on the ground," and she's like, "This is vintage." So just fave moments for me.
Yeah, those are great.
That I've been to that gas station. Where she
Same.
gets robbed.
Like you wanted to go see it.
Yeah,
Same.
yeah. It's
Yeah, I went.
it's a spot.
Like,
Wait, sorry,
intentionally.
whose side are you on?
I'm sorry. I literally
The side
Okay,
of taste.
Monica, what's
Okay.
your favorite scene in Mean Girls?
My favorite scene, it's a tie.
Okay.
The Halloween scene where she comes in as the ex-wife and her face is like
It's
teeth
so good.
and like the coloring, like I was like, makeup did her dirty.
And that's an
I
iconic
love
meme
it.
now.
Yeah.
They're like,
Well, and I love
Halloween
that
is
she-
the time.
I love that she kept the teeth in.
Yeah.
Like, even though,
Yeah.
she was like,
Yeah.
oh, everybody's like
and
hot.
it's like a funny, true concept, right? Like all the high school girls were dressing slutty AF.
That's
and
me on Gay Halloween
yeah,
every year.
like it's funny. Like it's a truth
Halloween.
of like Americans on Halloween. So I love that.
Yeah.
And the other moment I love is at the end of the movie where she has the party without inviting Janice and Damien, and they
Oh.
roll by and they see the party happening. And they're like, "What the fuck?" And Damien's like, "I'm not stopping this car. I've got a curfew."
yeah.
And then shows the picture
Yeah,
of like
that she made
which
for her.
was honestly like weird.
It was
And then-
ugly,
yeah.
Janice. No
And then
shade.
sorry,
It was
Janice,
ugly,
I love
Janice.
So many moments. My favorite moment is when Katie first meets Regina. I think that
Mm.
scene and the acting in that scene is so good because it's like, and you can feel it. Like you can feel the
Yeah.
tension and the way. I love all the music in this. The way the
Mhm.
music is used. Whoever composed this movie was a genius. But upon doing a rewatch, I actually got emotional, which I do get emotional. I
She's
Shocker.
looking at
teared
me,
up.
checking in
I
with me.
actually teared up when Katie it's like the mathletes competition.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
And she gets the answer right. I like teared up when I was
Yeah.
watching that. I don't know like why, but there was just something about because you could tell that she was like, that was the moment whenever she was like sort of everything bad had happened and she's like at this mathletes thing and Tina Fey is there. I thought her relationship with Tina Fey was really special. And,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I
sweet.
agree.
And so I got emotional whenever she gets the answer right, like the limit does not exist. And like, there's something
The limit
about
does not exist.
there's something about like when you don't know something and then all of a sudden it comes to you and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And the fact that like the other girl got the answer wrong and that's the only reason why Katie was able to like answer it. Like
Mm.
I don't know.
They
There's
were
just
like,
something.
the girl's not gonna know.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they pick
But
her.
that win for me, like there's just something about it, and I
That's
got
so
emotional.
funny.
I started
Also,
crying.
Kevin Kapoor is
I
so
love-
fucking
Oh,
funny.
he was
The
great.
rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean to be Mean Girls team again, but there's another moment where
Gonna get your
I'm
ass,
sorry,
Jay.
when she breaks the tiara and she's giving
A
it
little piece
little
for
piece
you.
for everybody,
Yeah.
and she can't get it because her neck is like Regina's neck is broken, so she
Yeah.
like throws it to her and she's like and doesn't catch it. It's so
It's so
good.
good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just really like I think Tina Fey is just a brilliant writer in the way that like things are not super obvious. There's like these little jokes that you miss if you're not really paying attention. And yeah, I rewatched. It's still funny as shit. Like it lives on. The remake was so good.
I disagree passionately.
Oh my god, the remake was so
Let's
good.
hear it. Let's
I
hear it.
love
Why?
Renee Rapp.
I love Renee.
Even though
love
I just
Renee Rapp.
realized that Renee Rapp and this young lady from the Sex Lives of College Girls are the same person. Mean
Wait.
Girls, the musical, just didn't.
I thought she was bad in it. Sorry, Renee.
I didn't think that the musical film was good at all. I didn't enjoy the music.
Did you like
I-
The Best Friends? They were so good in it.
I didn't
She
really
pointed
like.
to us.
Yeah.
She pointed to us.
And
she was like,
I think really it was a distraction. Whoever that Katie actress was,
Oh,
I
the-
think
Oh,
that
yeah.
should have been a replacement. There should have been a different
oh,
actress.
I love her. I love how
I
big her
could. I
lips
think
are.
that I wanted to leave the theater, and I was there for free because it was such a distraction.
I am
Also, I
somebody-
hated the way it was marketed because a lot of people didn't know it was a musical, including myself, until I sat down.
But I
Just
think
saying.
that was on purpose. Like
And
I think
that
they didn't want people to know.
is what you call a flub.
It was
No, you
That's
know
a
what?
chop.
It
Here's
made
my
me love the
thing.
original so much
And
more.
that's the silver.
Yeah.
That's the silver lining.
But I
for
did
me.
like the music. I thought the two
Mm.
best friends were the highlight for me. Like they played it so well.
I am like so weird with stuff like this. Whenever, because I'm so obsessed with Mean Girls,
Mm.
I'm holding off watching the remake because I'm like, why?
It's also just.
I
such
don't
a
want to
different
see it. I'm
thing.
not ready.
I'm
yet.
like curious to hear your thoughts on. You might
I'm
like
not ready
it.
I think
yet.
you would
I don't
like
know,
it.
but it's
You're
like
gonna like
weird
it.
whenever I'm like so obsessed with something, and I'm like, because that's why because you guys know how much I love Full House and how I won't watch Fuller House because I'm like it was
Yeah.
already it was
It was
done
perfect,
perfect.
yeah.
Anyways,
Well, I feel
but-
like this is a point for Mean Girls in general, which obviously iconic. Like I feel like when I walked out of the theater, like parents were like, "That was an incredible movie."
Really?
Like, oh yeah, like it
Mean
spans
Girls, yeah.
decades, but it's like a Mean Girl universe. It's like a Marvel identity that they made a musical. They made another movie. Like
And they had a Broadway show that was very successful.
Yeah, Broadway show.
Clueless Broadway show
Also,
coming out too.
I will say this. I
Yeah,
think
it was off Broadway.
I will say
no,
this.
it's coming in
When?
London.
I
When?
think
The
that,
new
it
Clueless
came
show.
out.
well, hold on.
There's a. Go ahead.
I think that October 3rd has now become a national holiday because
What
of
is
Mean
it?
Girls.
That's what
He goes, Aaron Samuel says,
That's literally my thought.
what day is it? And she goes, it's October 3rd.
And I block people on Twitter that post that meme every year.
It's a national holiday
I go,
now.
shut the hell up. Blocked.
You can't block me
No,
in
canceled,
real life.
God.
muted, ejected,
You
and
can't mute
logged
me.
out.
This isn't a video game. Okay?
You cannot eject me.
Y'all in my video game today, and y'all looking pretty clueless.
Plug me back in.
Girl, extension cord unplugged.
Okay, so blocking someone is classic Mean Girl behavior.
It
Girl, I'm
is.
from the circle. We block every day.
You guys,
Whoa.
Clueless not only had a movie that was very successful and forever will be successful, they also had a musical, just like Mean Girls.
Yes,
And the other day in The Real Housewives of New York, they had an episode where they had a birthday party, Clueless themed, and Jenna Lyons dressed like the dad.
And
which
there was a
epic.
TV show spinoff.
Yeah.
There was?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Everyone
think-
returned except for Alicia Silverstone.
Wait, what? Like, when was that?
It was on UPN, like maybe a year or
Sorry,
so after the film.
UPN?
UPN?
Yes, girl. Black people loved watching UPN because
Okay.
all the
Yeah,
black
the Postal
sitcoms were on it.
Service? Okay.
It's not looking good
Okay,
for y'all with
but-
that. The comments are gonna get y'all
Okay,
asses.
yes, I hear all of those things, but I just feel like Mean Girls is like a more known universe and has like carried on in honestly a crazy way. Like I wouldn't have anticipated that from this movie we would get a musical. Like it's having like a cultural moment with Gen Z, especially like the way the new movie was done with all the, like the TikToks and stuff, which I'm like, you know, I'm also a lover of the original,
I
but-
mean, not to. Wasn't there an Ariana Grande song that kind of like copied this movie? What was that? Remember?
Thank you. Next.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nat.
Yeah, so
Mm.
it's really, but you know what? Anyways, I will say this.
Wait, I don't get a Thank You Next reference.
That's the music video, and she literally, it's just like Mean
Oh, it's
Yes.
Girls.
Clueless.
No,
Oh,
it's
Mean Girls.
It's Mean Girls.
Okay, but you know how many videos have done in Clueless?
I know.
Iggy Azalea's Fancy.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, I will say this about Clueless, and I know I'm not Team Clueless, but there is a scene where they're trying to figure out like who's gonna drive who home.
Yeah.
And I will say every time I'm like
I've been in that situation.
like I'm
too.
always
Yeah.
in that situation where
Yeah.
it's like, and you're going this way, so you might as well take the, but I don't know. There's just something about that moment.
I
whenever
love
they're
that
like-
moment.
Shares in the backseat of the car.
Cher,
and and
yeah.
Ty's like,
Ty's
and
like
she
holding
was
the
like,
snow globe.
Well, yeah,
thing.
she's holding
Yeah.
the snow globe. Yeah. Yes.
aw.
I know. I
Well,
love
and
it.
then you guys didn't talk about. Sorry, I'm not Team Clueless, but the way that the teachers, the makeover.
I love.
teachers.
I love. No,
You
because
hate
they
him?
needed
A small
it.
subplot.
Okay, yeah, small. No, but it's a main plot of like how she's giving back.
How she's the matchmaker.
Yeah. I
and
think
she's
it's
giving
cool.
back. But it's self-serving
It's
once again
self-serving.
because Cher is trying to negotiate her way out of basically failing her classes.
But everybody was excited because he was in a better. He did
Yeah.
need a little
Mr.
bump of
Hall,
happiness.
Mr. Hall.
Yeah, that guy worked.
He did.
He was like the mean professor guy in every movie.
That's
Aw.
so true.
Yeah, he was like that. Like you
Yeah,
know.
that's
Well,
so
the
funny.
I like the teachers in Clueless, but the teachers in Mean Girls are obviously way better. Me and Monica were sort of quoting our favorite scene whenever Tim Meadows like, well, my carpal tunnel came back.
Yeah, it's like a realistic version
It's a
of like because we
realistic,
never really
yeah.
see the teachers as like people. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
then
they
there's
sort
also
of.
there's the scene where they're at Janice's work at the mall and they see Tina Fey
Mm.
and she has
that's
to
so
also work
sad.
as a bartender, so she's in her like bartending vest, and that scene is so funny to me because Janice is so uncomfortable
Yeah.
like seeing like the teacher like outside of the classroom.
She said it's
But
like
I
seeing
remember-
a unicorn.
I'd be like,
yeah, like
Yeah.
if I saw them out in public, I was like, you should leave.
I'm that way about some people I know today in real life. So
Not your teachers.
just people
Why
in
did
general.
you do it to like with
Not
your hand?
y'all. I just meant this is what I do when I see the people.
But I get it. When you're a kid, that's your entire universe. When you see them outside of that atmosphere, like that biodome, you're like, what is this? Who
It's
is this? Like,
foreign.
you also, for me, if I don't see you where I know you from, I can't put it together. I'm like, what universe are you from?
Same.
Oh,
Like,
I
do I know
like
you from comedy? Do I know you from like?
I've literally never run into a teacher outside of school.
Ever?
Really?
Ever.
Not one time?
Not one time.
They had lives. They were
I
going somewhere
never
else.
Saw.
Whoa.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about Clueless is that she was, in a sense, clueless to like her dad defended her and like kept her so young. Like even though she was like mature and like was like driving and had all these material things, like she didn't really know what to do when it came to like dating a guy. Which I like. She had all these set intentions that were like when dating a guy, it was like how magazines told us to like date men. Like you always have to have something close to your mouth. You have to send yourself flowers. Like
And
you should also have something baking in the oven.
Yeah, like you have to
she
show
burnt the shit
skin.
up. And at the end of the day, like none of those things really worked because like Christian was gay, and if like one puzzle piece doesn't fit through your laundry list of things, then it's just not going to fit. And I think that was a really important part of the movie, her rolling off the bed onto the floor.
And how he, like the gay guy becomes her best friend, like that's total foreshadowing of like everything that we'd see beyond that.
It was a little ahead of its time.
Yeah, it was that.
I feel like I loved like Mean Girl had so many like nuggets. Like Gretchen Wiener's dad invented toaster strudels.
Oh yeah,
like I'm like iconic, and like there's just so many nuggets where you're just like, oh my god, that's like really fucking funny.
I love that.
So are we gonna get into the quotes?
Okay, I think we do. I'll give you guys one where she can feel like she's like, and my tits tell me that it's raining. Like, what did she say?
For Mean Girl, she goes, I have a fifth sense.
I thought she did such a better job than the remake. Like she played the dumb very naturally. Like they really pushed it on the remake, and it was like too much. Like she's like, I'm dumb. Like she just didn't do as good of a job. But like, look at the star cast.
I mean,
totally.
One of the my favorite lines and moments is when they're trying to like get Gretchen Wieners to not be friends with Regina George anymore, and then they do the candy cane the
dance,
and then like that line of like, "Fool for you, Glen Coco, you go Glen Coco." Like that was, I remember saying that all the time in high
None
school.
for you, Gretchen Wieners.
And none for Gretchen Wieners. Like that to me is also like, also my mom quotes that randomly. My mom still will be like, and none for Gretchen Wieners.
Wait, did you guys have that in your school?
The candygrams?
Yeah.
I did.
We had singing telegrams, and I was one of the singers.
Whoa.
Oh wow.
It was fun. Yeah. And you could send one and then you have to sing in front of the whole class.
Wait, if you got one, then you had to sing?
No, I would like, they would hire me. They would like, I would show up and go like, this is for you from Monica.
Wouldn't it be kind of crazy if you got the candy cane and then they expected you to sing?
It was a big deal to get a bunch of those. Like if you didn't get like 10 of those, like you were not.
Oh, we did not have that.
Yeah, we had those.
Whoa.
I don't know
really
where the money
funny.
went towards because our school was falling apart, but
Not this.
shout out to Elmore High School, dude.
Okay, what else? Oh, stop making fetch happen.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
such a
Fetch
funny
isn't
one.
going to happen.
Fetch
Stop
isn't
trying to
gonna
make it happen.
Poor Gretchen.
And then Gretchen starts just like revealing secrets. It's so funny.
I know Gretchen just wants friendship and love. You know, when you're the runner up in the group, like
Being a lackey is hard.
it's hard.
Yeah.
And I know
Being a
from
Alyssa.
firsthand experience. And when I was, that's why I never want to be a lackey again. It's just you're sort of, you have to kind of like play by the rules of this other person. And so, but the most amazing scene is whenever finally they say, "You can't sit with us." You can't sit with us. To Regina, yeah.
I think that's the most iconic.
It is. You can't sit with us is also like these are quotes
we wear
where
pink on Wednesday.
you kind of forget that like, oh, that's from Mean Girls because you think it's like
You hear
from
it
the
so
Declaration
often.
of Independence.
You guys, we also
Not the Declaration.
you guys, we had a journal that we all wrote into that we would like take turns writing into
The
it,
burn
and I
book?
still have it.
Our school also had
And
a
it
burn
was
book.
pretty.
Really?
It's pretty rough, and
We had
we're like,
MySpace.
this girl smells like she smells bad.
Ours was
Not
like a
this.
digital thing. Like I don't know if it was like a
'cause
live
you're
journal
older.
or something, but literally
Or
like
younger.
someone like went in on like everybody, like based off of this.
Isn't
burn
that
book
how
type thing.
Facebook initiated?
I was going to say, I was like, this sounds pretty
I
nice.
didn't
I think
The
it was
other
like a
thing I wanna
live journal.
say-
They literally ripped everyone apart. It was crazy.
The other
And it was
thing
like
I
one
want
of
to
the
say about
teachers.
Clueless is that I will say a lot of the lines that come from Clueless were not necessarily like, they were just like classic 90s lines, like as if. That's not necessarily like
Who else was saying that?
everybody in the 90s.
Because they watch Clueless.
Yeah, it was a clueless.
That is
thing.
kind of crazy. Hold on. I thought people were saying
like,
that.
nobody's saying that
Like,
shit.
were
Like-
people saying as if?
As soon as Alicia Silverstone
Yeah, it was
said it.
a
So
yeah.
movie
that,
thing.
so the writer of Clueless, like kind of, because that is kind of crazy.
What's her
Yeah.
name? Heckerman.
Amy Heckerling, one of my followers. I'm a crazy person.
She directed and wrote it?
Mhm.
Okay, I knew she directed it. I didn't know she wrote it. So she literally is the reason why now, when you think of the 90s, you think of as if.
Yeah.
That's kind of,
I can't think of another.
I hate to admit
I
it,
can't even think of a
that's pretty
TV show from that time period that would have even said that casually.
I know. Well,
Right?
I thought it was like a 90s slang and then Cher was saying it.
Do you guys-
know what I
Maybe
mean?
whatever, for sure.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
As
Did you ever
if,
do
though.
like loser, whatever with the twist?
We used to do loser, put them together. What do you get? Whatever.
Yeah.
Loser, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Loser,
whatever
loser,
with the
whatever.
twist.
I just did what Amber did.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Or talk to the hand. That was kind of that era where we'd be like, talk to the hand.
Because the face ain't gonna listen.
Because the face ain't
Period.
I
listening.
also
Come on,
loved
Harriet the
that
Spy.
that Brittany Murphy had that like hilarious accent.
Yeah, I don't know what her accent was. She's like,
She had like that heavy East Coast
Jersey.
accent.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God, you're so popular.
you guys,
like, the way
I
you
think
talk
I might.
to like
do you,
that.
do you
Yeah.
guys have any kind of herbal refreshment?
Yeah, it was so
You
She was
guys
like,
have
"Do you mean
Coke
drugs?"
at your school? Like she was so.
You guys have Coke at your school?
Where was she supposed to be from?
Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Like
Aw.
Brittany, can we talk about Brittany Murphy for a second? Like, oh my
Yeah.
God,
A star.
a star of our generation. Like, what a horrible person to lose.
I think Brittany would have had like a huge.
she was just becoming like an
career.
A-lister.
Yeah.
Mm.
She
Very
committed
sad.
so hard in every role that she did.
I agree.
Like
I agree.
even her flavor in Clueless, like I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
it's good.
It's so
Mm.
good.
Yeah.
When I think of Clueless, the first image that comes to my mind is her in those overalls when
she's standing
Yeah,
around.
she's standing there alone.
And she's
She
like-
could
and
be
she
a
keeps-
farmer
yeah,
in those clothes.
She keeps like changing the overalls, like in the
Yeah.
look,
Oh my
and then
God.
she's like putting it, and then she's like, it's so she's
Or when
just
she's
so
at
cute.
when she's at that party
And she falls down
hits
the
her head
stairs.
and then she's like,
Oh.
Rolling.
Then
yeah,
what-
yeah.
She hits a lamp when she stands up
Yeah.
again.
Aw.
I love
Rolling with
it.
The homies.
And then like all along, she liked that skater boy, and they were like, no. And then Claire,
Travis
I mean,
is one of
Jeremy.
my favorite characters in the entire movie.
he's so cute.
sorry, did Travis go to in the 12-step program? They
He did.
Hold on.
He did.
Yeah, he
Travis
goes-
was like a stoner in the movie.
She goes,
that-
I'm into the step program, and she goes 12, and he's like, the good guess.
Yeah,
I will say, Travis is the most realistic California character in that movie.
I agree.
I have met a million Travises.
Same.
Like,
Same.
you know what I mean? Like, he is, whereas everybody else seems like to be a bit of a caricature to
I
me.
agree.
He is the most realistic. And then at the skateboarding competition, like, that's like, I know him. There are so many Travises in LA.
And
you guys,
that is
she-
why Brittany Murphy needed to end up with his ass at the end of the
I
movie.
know. Brittany
Yeah.
Thank
Murphy,
the Lord.
iconic. And then also Alicia Silverstone, like at the time, was one of the biggest actresses. Like, of our, do
Totally.
you remember when she was in that Aerosmith,
Aerosmith
music
girly.
video? Oh my God, with Liv Tyler. They are
Wow.
so beautiful.
That's how she was
Crazy.
discovered. It was like, I want the
Yeah.
girl from the Crazy music video.
Oh my God.
Could you
That's how she
imagine?
got Clueless.
She's
Really?
so
Mm.
beautiful.
So they didn't even have her audition.
I'm sure she
just-
auditioned
yeah.
once they were like, that's the girl. But she was discovered from the music video.
Wow.
I also did
But
not
she
pass
was
my
in-
driver's test, so that's also a moment that I really
Wait,
related
why
to.
didn't you pass?
I just was like distracted driver. Like I took it twice before
Whoa.
I passed. But I also didn't have my license. I had like my trainering license. What is it called? Like
a permit.
a
Yeah,
permit.
Mhm.
And I wasn't supposed to have anybody in the car. My friend Ashley was in the car and I got into a fender bender and I was like, walk home, get out of here, save yourself. And she was like, no, I'm
Not
far. I'm like,
save
get
yourself.
out of here. Like, because I didn't want to
That's
get double
so
in trouble.
funny.
Yeah.
Wait, I passed mine, but I had a friend who failed hers because she went around the roundabout the wrong way.
Which is
Roundabouts
like-
are confusing.
No,
You
that's
never
like
go
so
left.
dangerous.
You never go left.
Like to go around that, which was really funny.
I can't tell
Sorry,
you
Julia.
I can't tell you how many times I entered the highway on the wrong, the wrong way.
What?
I can't judge. I don't drive. But girl, what?
What do you
Ask
mean?
my friends from high school. They'll all say, and they always used to call me by my last name, and they're like, "Guys, remember when Sabo used to enter the highway on the wrong?" Like it was always like, "Do not enter." I was very much a Cher when driving, and you know what? It's actually bad that I was driving at 16. I should have been one of those
Same.
people that waited till I
Me
was like
too.
at least 21.
I got
My
into a
brain
lot of
was not
accidents.
developed.
Me too.
Whoa.
I was distracted. I had a flip phone. Like it was, I wanted to be
Nah, I
just
had
like
a flip
Cher.
No,
phone.
I didn't have any distractions. I was just really dumb.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, I want to talk really quickly about as far as driving. It's weird because when I think about Cher, I would sort of think of like Regina George but it's like not because it's like it's Cher and Cady Heron. But Cher's car, was it like a Hummer?
It was a white Jeep.
No, it was a white
A
Jeep.
white Jeep.
Yeah.
And then Regina George
Yeah.
driving around in that convertible. So freaking cool.
Get in, Liz.
Get
We're
in,
going
Liz, we're going
shopping.
shopping. But the way that and I loved seeing her drive. And I loved that because I remember like growing up where it's sort of like male centric and the guy always drives. She was always driving. Even when she had Shane Omen in the car with her, she was driving. Remember? She was like, she cannot throw a party without me. And she was like driving. And I was like, that's cool to see a girl drive. Because it was always like, no, the guy drives.
I didn't realize how impactful that was
Yeah.
to like see
It was was
for
kind
like
of
women.
impactful
Yeah.
for me to see her, and the way that she was like driving with such force. And Shane, you know what? Shane Oman was right for her. Shane could handle Regina, and I don't think Aaron Samuels ever could. He was too much of a
Homosexual.
baby.
Like,
That's really fun. I've never thought about that once.
me either.
I
I don't know why.
once.
It's like I remember seeing that and being like, nice.
But I could relate to the whole like, I like your hair like this, because I was always trying to change my boyfriends because I was a lesbian in the closet, and I'd be like, what do you look like from behind? You know, so I could really relate to that scene.
But that moment though is really like whenever
Yeah.
she's like, Cady, tell him, doesn't his hair look sexier like that? And then
Yeah.
Katie's like, your hair looks sexier like that.
Alrighty, you guys, we have two movies that really relied on jokes, comedy, but especially fashion, right?
Fashion.
Yeah.
Which movie had the better fashion, do you think? Obviously,
Clueless.
Team Clueless is going to say
100%.
Clueless, because I feel like, sure, you can cut holes out of tank tops, and sure, you can wear pink on Wednesday, but I don't think any of the looks in Mean Girls is as timeless as Cher's yellow plaid moment. 100%.
100%.
Period. Shut the door. Tales from the crypt.
Yeah,
with a lock on it.
perfect shoes,
Okay.
perfect socks, knee-high sweater on
Just
top
the
of
just the
the
cover.
cut of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I will say, I have to admit that yellow outfit is very, it's a Halloween costume.
Iconic and
In
legendary.
general,
It is.
there are a lot of good outfits in
Yeah.
Clueless. Like, I'll give you that.
It is.
But
But the way that the costuming was used to further the movie in Mean Girls is what I'm thinking about here.
plot point.
Because
Plot point
it
why?
I
was
can't wait to hear this
Yeah,
unfold.
me too.
because think about it. Think about Katie's character. When she starts off, she kind of doesn't know what she's doing, and she has to wear pink. She wears Damien's big pink shirt. Okay, that's we think about that moment a lot. That polo with I think it might have been a Lacoste shirt.
Lacoste?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Lacoste.
And then we get to when she has made her final transformation and she's looking in the mirror and she's got her perfect tweezed eyebrows and her lips, and she's like putting on the lip gloss, and she's in that little mini skirt, and they're all wearing those cardigans. It reminded me of Jawbreakers. Remember that movie?
I do.
Yeah.
And so to see all four of these girls like that, and that scene when they're all walking and Lindsay Lohan falls in the garbage can and
Yeah.
we see her little frilly skirt, that
Mm.
to me, it speaks more to what was actually going on personally. Whereas like, yeah, okay, Cher, they had cool outfits. Great.
No,
I also
it's
think,
beyond that.
I also think there's different time periods. Like it
Yeah.
was literally a decade before, and so we are like in the era of like the tank top, the like tight low-rise jeans, like the skirts and
but
like
everybody had been
Ugg
doing
boots
that.
and whatever.
Like,
But I feel like it was like a more real portrayal of high school versus like
Well, and when
this
they-
aspirational like matching closet whatever. So I think that people were like, oh, I can dress like that, and I like want to dress like that. Do you know what I
well,
mean?
everybody was
Versus, like,
already
Clueless.
dressing like that.
I
like,
just feel like when it comes to impact, anything y'all have said, I've seen out on the street in terms of like,
no, I think when the movie was on,
Janice Ian's hairstyle. The
very Lizzie
impact-
McGuire.
The impact of Janice Ian's, those side bangs.
Janice Ian went to visit Miranda from Lizzie McGuire
Yeah.
in jail and stole her hairstyle. Clearly.
It
Lorraine,
was-
come get your hairstyle back.
Which,
If you
by
guys
the
haven't
way,
seen, go.
If you haven't seen that, we have a Lizzie McGuire versus Raven episode. It's iconic.
I think that it was reflection of what people were already
Yeah.
kind of wearing, like very express, like juicy couture suits, low rise.
Oh my god, the juicy
A
couture
horrible
suit.
moment in fashion. I'm sorry, but Clueless invented this entire universe of like how girls dressed that has been copied for years. I mean, like huge
They were already
celebrities still
dressing
do.
like that.
Not really.
they were
not
not.
the plaid. Like
No, they were not.
it
Yes,
was
they
very
were.
like what's that
Not-
movie
they
with
were
Fiona?
not.
Wait, what's that movie?
Maybe Travis, like the
Um,
grunge style, like when Cher was giving the commentary.
Yeah,
on
that's how
men
like
dress,
Nirvana was
that's how
dressing. That was
men
Nirvana.
were dressing, but they weren't dressing.
Wait,
like Cher.
But what about what's that movie where it's like they're all mean girls and they play croquet?
Yeah, Heathers.
Heathers. It was like very like it was almost like an up leveled.
Yeah, so they
Heathers,
copied
like a
Heathers.
more-
So you just said they copied Heathers.
Okay, but I never said they didn't. I'm
Wait,
just saying
It's
So
like,
they
about
copied
which
Heathers.
movie has more
Okay.
impact when it comes to the fashion.
when it comes to
I mean-
fashions, like even what they were wearing in the gym line when they're like outside waiting to play tennis,
Tennis.
like the black and white, how they like did the little tank top on top of a little t-shirt.
Everyone had like their own
Everybody
personal kind of
copied
style.
that.
Look,
Can
fine,
I say
I'll
also
give you
in
that.
in
That
the
was
rewatch, I feel like I didn't notice this before, but like the way the t-shirts and especially as Mean Girls goes on, like the way they handle boobs in that movie, like I was like, oh my God, what the hell? Everyone's like wearing push-up bras.
Really
Yeah.
padded
the
bras.
Shirts,
Really
so padded. And the
padded.
shirts
Whoa.
are so tight. Like I was like, did I do that?
On the
Was I
remake?
I know girls
like
that
Wait,
Really
on the
padded.
remake, that dumb girl scene at the Halloween party, I was
Yeah.
like, why do they do this? It was like
Oh, were
almost
they out?
pornographic.
Wow.
Yeah, like have you seen the remake? Yeah, you saw
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
The remake when the Halloween party when the girl's like, I'm dumb. And then
That is probably the number one actress I liked from that movie. We need to
that's
see
my least favorite
Avantika.
actress.
Yeah.
Least
Avantika, we need you in 11 more movies
We
because
need you in 50
she was
Shades
the
of
star
Grey.
of the movie.
I
to me.
disagree. She overplayed being dumb and she ruined that character for me.
Wow.
I
Okay,
thought it
well,
was
Me and
not
Katie.
Back to
good.
it, I have to say, okay, you know what? I can admit when I'm wrong. And I do think that you're right about the fashion of Clueless.
Okay, it's
I
fine.
really
But
appreciate
that
that.
doesn't mean that it's better. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, but there were more, I think the fashion moments in Mean Girls like stood out to me more because of like, and then, you know, it just like pushed the story along whenever Janice cut the holes in Regina's tank top and then she like put it on and she was like, and then everybody was doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And the moments of like, I saw, or like Katie was wearing camo pants and flip flops, so I wore camo pants and flip flops.
I love that moment.
I also
I
like,
should've
like I've
always
said,
said-
like I've said before, I like don't care about fashion really, and so which movie's funnier? And I think it's Mean Girls, and so for me, I'm kind of like, who cares about the more iconic fashion? Like it's a better movie. Mean
Okay.
Girls is a better movie.
If you're at home sitting thinking, oh my God, what about this fashion moment that you guys didn't mention? Write it down. Did we miss something? Because I feel like we named all the really
I
iconic
think
fashion
so.
moments.
I mean, Cher's white dress, Cher's red dress at the Valley party, Cher's iconic yellow plaid.
you know what I love?
Brittany Murphy in the red stripe moment when she got hit in the head with the shoe.
Yeah, when
Like, the whole
when she
movie
goes to
ate.
do her driver's test, she's like, "This is my only presentable shirt." That clear shirt over her outfit.
Oh my God,
I
how
was
rude she is
drooling.
to the house cleaner.
I know she.
Where's my shirt?
And then she's like,
Her
"Don't you
white
speak
collar
Mexican?"
shirt from Fred Siegel.
And the woman's like, "I am not Mexican."
No, you're not the Mexican. She was from El Salvador.
Yeah, which by the way, growing up as an immigrant, everyone's like, "Do you speak Spanish?" So yeah, I feel you.
And I asked you that earlier today.
Oh,
I mean, now it doesn't
my
offend me as
God.
much because
Well,
it's
it
been a
was
long
because I was
time.
asking because I speak Spanish.
No, you were asking if I spoke Spanish, not like as if that's the language.
Yeah, no, yeah.
We spoke fashion. Now it's all about the facts. Box office hit numbers.
I feel like again, this is hard because they're literally in different decades.
Mhm.
So it's hard to like compare, but Mean Girls did do technically better than
Well,
Clueless.
Clueless made 57 million, but it was back in the 90s, which is
Worldwide.
ultimately like probably close to 150 million now.
That's so much money.
Okay, but Mean Girls did 130 million, which is probably like 220 million now. So.
No, that is now though. That's what I'm talking about. That wasn't
no,
that
Mean
long
Girls
ago.
was not now. 2004,
No.
20 years ago. That's
Wow,
vintage.
20
no,
years
we have
ago.
the today money.
It
Yeah.
takes 20 years and then it's vintage. So now Mean Girls is vintage.
It's vintage. Oh my God, we're old.
It has to
Weird.
be at least 20 years
Weird
old.
to think about that.
It is weird that it came
And
in 20
Mean
years
Girls
ago.
technically had more awards.
25 noms.
25 noms.
How many noms did
Cool.
we get?
7 wins.
I think we got 12 noms.
12, 6
and
wins.
6 wins. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's good.
That's when award shows weren't like as infiltrated by like social media.
I was gonna say a lot of them weren't fan voted.
So they're
in
more
the 90s.
pure.
Yeah.
Well, and then all of the like, which stars had the bigger careers, obviously, like, you know. I think that they're kind of equal, Alicia
I
Silverstone
don't.
and
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan.
I don't think so. I think that
Okay.
Lindsay Lohan had the bigger career, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Alicia Silverstone was in Batman and Robin, which is my favorite Batman.
She was
movie.
also the voice of Braceface, which was one of my favorite
Loved
shows.
Braceface.
Also,
Let's
Alicia
talk about a
Silverstone
boyfriend.
was in one of my favorite movies, from the 90s, where, wait, what was it called? Where she was like a crazy person. And
Oh.
the
Single white female?
no, I think, do you guys know what I'm talking Crush. Did
I've
you
never
guys
seen
see
that. I've never seen that movie.
Oh, you should see Crush.
I
It
gotta
is
Really?
rewatch
And
that.
Alicia,
good.
Alicia was a star?
She
was
was
the
the
crazy
star.
girl in it,
She's
yeah.
she's like younger. It was before Clueless.
Mm-hmm.
She is so good in it, and she is like she has like BPD.
I would have
It's-
to give it to Mean Girls. I think there is people like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, also
Rachel McAdams alone.
Oh my
She's
god,
I agree.
the most. She's
Lindsay
the most.
Lohan.
I mean, Tim Meadows. A lot of these
Wait,
were
who played
also
the dumb
like
girl?
already
Oh,
stars.
Amanda.
Amanda Seyfried.
Amanda Seyfried.
Who's
Yeah.
like, I mean,
Huge.
it was like these dramatic actors
Yeah.
that
Lizzie
like
Kaplan.
came in to do.
Lindsay- yeah.
This.
Yeah, so
this
I'll
role.
give that one to Mean Girls, but
Yeah, that, to be fair.
it was a great movie full of star-studded people. But that's so easy. Like all these people already had they were already public figures. They were already doing really well. They all had nominations. Other movies they were in. Clueless, we didn't know these people yet.
We knew maybe the Aerosmith girl,
Yeah.
Alicia Silverstone, but the rest of them, like,
Oh, she had been in a bunch of movies.
Yeah, but she wasn't well known yet.
But has
she
she
had not
popped
been a
off?
leading lady. And
she
then
didn't jump off like Lil' Kim yet.
baby Paul Rudd. I mean, that started his entire career. Like
I agree.
you have to give it to the movie. Like it's iconic. It lives on. Like how many years later now? 30 years later.
I mean, just the fact that we're able to still kind of discuss Brittany Murphy almost like her career ended like a year or two ago, I think is impactful.
I
agree.
think, well,
that
I
movie
think with
made
Mean Girls,
stars.
even though you're
Donald
saying,
Faison,
even
like,
though-
don't the people love Scrubs?
Oh my God. It was before Scrubs. I mean, he's on T-Mobile commercials now.
I just think that you can't though say, oh, Mean Girls already had everybody was a star, because here's the thing: there are a lot of movies where they put a lot of stars in them and they flop. Okay, so that doesn't always mean that.
Don't
it's
talk
going to be
about
a
Ocean's
success.
11 like
I'm
that.
also like, just because it started small, like you guys are off Broadway and then you got to Broadway, that's great. I think that that's awesome. But,
It's fantastic,
But now
actually.
we're comparing two movies. We're just comparing the two movies. Like, yeah, maybe you had like, you know, more indie start. Now we're comparing the two movies. Mean Girls has a star-studded cast. Everyone who was in it is incredible. Even the girl that's like Regina George wore flip-flops, so I wore flip-flops. Like she literally
She's
had
great.
an entire social media career from that one movie.
She did?
Yeah. She was like on social media
She did?
making really funny videos.
Me.
Yeah.
Your own teammate,
Yeah.
Monica.
Anyway, so we have like everyone in that movie is like iconic, whether they were famous before or not. And so that's why it just like I'm sorry to Clueless, but it's
I just
not
think
true.
that the story just reads better when you're nobody and then you just happen to do a little thing. And then that thing becomes like culturally so significant so that we could have something like a Mean
Yeah,
Girls.
it's because of the script and it's because of like the satire and the timing of it and like the commentary on what was happening at the time too. And like it just kind of, I don't know, it solidified these people and these things for a lot. I mean, look at this. I bought this on Amazon.
I also have to say, okay, so Clueless, incredible in so many ways, but it was like this slice of life. Like obviously Cher's the main protagonist, but there's a lot of like, you know, love interests, other main characters. Like Mean Girls was like a female-centric movie at that time, like talking about the dynamics, talking about the ups and downs of high school. So I feel like from like a feminism perspective, like Mean Girls like really takes the cake with that.
No, I
like it was one of the
disagree.
first like comedy movies where we're like, it's not just like, oh, the pretty girl doing this. Like there's real dynamics in there
it was
and
more,
like funny
it really wasn't just
characters.
about like, oh, I have a crush on this guy and I hope he likes me back. It was like really intense moments of like teenage girls being kooky.
Animalistic to the
Animalistic.
point
Which
where
we
like,
needed, yeah,
I'll give you
whereas,
that.
like-
It did do a very good job, like showing how like we support each other, but we're also like, and we need each other and want each other's
But
love.
I think that
it's,
that's
like-
what Mean Girls wanted to do. And I don't
Yeah.
think that Clueless ever wanted to do that.
But it did show female relationships.
It did, but I don't think that it was exactly intentional the way that Mean Girls. It was like,
Mhm.
this is about the girls. Clueless was not
Yeah.
about the girls. It was a movie, slice of life.
Yep.
It just happened to be led by one iconic lady.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? I just think that
Yeah.
They're not.
the
One's a
perspectives are
satire
different.
and the other one's like a it's like
Yeah.
they're similar, but they're very very different.
It's like
in
it's
that
like two
sense.
different conversations,
Yeah.
but they both did very impactful things.
Mhm.
Clueless just did it better.
I think okay. I just want to mention one more thing we haven't talked about yet, which is it covers a really important topic in Mean Girls, which is anger management, which
Mhm.
is what Regina George has. She clearly had anger management. And by the
Wow,
end, she was
wow.
playing field hockey and able to manage her anger in a way that was productive for the whole school.
I think
Wow.
Katie managed her anger when she pushed her ass in front of that bus.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think
She
Regina.
didn't.
I don't
Did she
think
push
Regina
her?
managed
Push her.
anything, to be honest.
And also that we have a similar storyline where she was doing things for herself ultimately, and then she realized that she needed to actually do things for others. Like, and that's when she started that relief.
she wound up giving back near the end of the movie.
Yeah, she
And
gives
To
her
the Pismo
keys.
Beach disaster. Shout out my girl Cher
But
Horowitz.
I think at the end of the day,
Beach.
That's
That's what she gives away.
I know. And she was like, she's dragging the skis.
Oh, the skis.
And they're like, Cher, I don't think they need your
Pismo
skis. And she's
Beach.
like, they lost everything.
That's
I
literally me.
Yeah.
I so get it. People need to ski.
They do.
A saint.
think that's like a minus point for me.
What?
For Clueless. That's like Pismo Beach
Pismo
disaster.
Beach.
Cher was giving.
She was giving it. It wasn't
all.
for herself. I think that's a beautiful part of the movie.
Don't get me fired.
I just don't buy it.
Wow, you don't care about wildlife. That's crazy.
No, I'm
You don't care about Pismo Beach.
Depends on
it's
beach
hard.
disaster.
It's hard to grow up in Beverly Hills and be so rich, and then all of a sudden, after
But you know what? She
Then
didn't
you
have.
just-
she
It
didn't
is hard.
have-
We
she
saw
didn't-
the movie. It's
She didn't have her
difficult.
mom. You know what I mean? Like
That's true.
Like you think that you like. I say this all the time. Like, comparisonitis is one of the things that kills people in
Yes,
this
ma'am.
career, right? You're like, oh my god, they have it all, and you might not know they're going through like a horrible divorce, or like they had a really hard upbringing. Like, it's
Her mom
interesting
died.
to see.
Her boyfriend gay.
Yeah,
There's a bunch
it's
of
hard.
stuff going on.
Everybody's getting their license. She's not. She doesn't have her favorite blouse when she takes her driver's test. That's really hard.
Okay, I'm sorry. That is
Failing
hard.
in school.
That is hard.
Can't negotiate the damn
Well,
grades.
hold
I'm
on a
saying that
second.
is hard. But Katie was literally homeschooled in Africa.
Yeah.
Then,
Wait, really
then
quickly?
thrown
Katie
into
from
high
Africa.
school, didn't know how to properly get a guy to like her, so she had to pretend to be bad at math, and actually was failing math.
She pretended to be a dumbass to get a man.
And
She had
really
no
quickly,
idea. And
hold
she
on
did
one
that
second.
to try
Crazy.
and meet a guy, and like that was really hard
And
for her.
I have
'cause
one
she was
thing
really
to
good
say.
at math.
I also have one thing to say,
Okay.
Courtney and Jade. I'm a little upset.
Peeved.
Nobody is even speaking about Josh's girlfriend who was studying feminism.
Alyssa, you almost made me say
did
something offensive.
Cher not even care about Josh's college girlfriend?
Gives a flying you know what
That
about
girl's
Josh's
life
girlfriend.
is ruined.
She
because
was rude.
She
Yeah.
couldn't
think
even
about the
call a
trauma. Hold
story
on a
right.
second. Think about the trauma. Can you imagine your college boyfriend leaving you for his high school stepsister? I would
Ex-stepsister.
never be able to get over that. I would
That
be
sounds
like
like a porno.
Hey, I have
That
to tell you
honestly-
guys something.
that
You know
sounds
what?
porno.
Don't
That
worry.
says a
Imagine
lot.
her
The
trying
girlfriend
to-
must have been trash, or
I think
Josh
the
wouldn't have left
girlfriend.
her.
I think the girlfriend was a lesbian, so she moved on to better things. She
Honestly,
changed her major to
Jade-
Joan.
I give that. I'm
Anyways,
on board with that.
That is traumatic.
Only for you. Only person that got the reference. No, Phone Home. Nobody's seen that musical.
E.T.
Okay, just kidding.
Okay, should we close it out? Do
We
need
should
to
close it out.
Y'all,
They're
can we
both
get
epic movies.
What do you think about Clueless versus Mean Girls? Final thoughts. Hit it.
Mean Girls to me was a practically perfect script. What Tina Fey did in Fire Island when she wrote it 2 summers in a row when she was on SNL was nothing short of perfection. There's a joke every single page. It resonated with high schoolers across the globe. It created a Marvel-style universe in which it has lived on for 20 years. A musical, a second movie. Renee Rapp is one of the hottest Gen Z individuals to exist.
The way that Mean Girls infiltrates every part of your life when you don't even know it.
Don't even know
You
it.
don't even know it. And it infiltrates it in a way that you can't escape it.
And
That is not a movie. That, my friends, is an experience.
And let me lead you with a question. How many of us have been personally victimized by Regina George? Slay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We rest our case.
Rest my case.
I be done cussed Regina ass out, first of all. Second of all.
As if. Let's go.
Great. Fantastic. Shout out to Mean Girls. Did you say Fire Island?
Yeah.
Tina
She wrote
Fey?
it in Fire
Tina
Island.
Fey
Tina
went to
Fey
Fire
wrote that
Island.
surrounded by a bunch of homosexuals and bikini bottoms?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Allegedly.
Shows.
Allegedly.
Shows.
But Fire Island. Clueless is such an iconic and legendary film. To me, it just stands the test of time. I think that it's told a very well-rounded story about real people, aspirational people that were in a phase of their life where they're trying to figure out who they are and what they want to mean to this world. Cher Horowitz, she wanted to help the world. She wanted to help Ty find a man, not her man. And I thought that she was just very giving.
Mhm.
Sure, it's not the feminist experience that Mean Girls gave audiences, but I think that a universal message was given.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that is to figure your stuff out because you don't have it all figured out, and to continue to be kind and to give.
I love that. And much like her Calvin Klein, it's just a perfect piece of vintage history.
Period. Dot.
Okay, so we could argue about this all day, but
Okay.
really, it's you at home on your computer, in your car, at work, in the elevator, in the bathroom, wherever you are.
The bathroom.
What movie do you think was more iconic? Clueless or Mean Girls? Mean Girls or Clueless? Let us know in the comments because ultimately you decide who the winner is. You have all the power. You might have a superpower. Let us know.
Okay, obviously you saw this episode. There were moments where we were flip-flopping. I got scared at one point when I thought about Ty's overalls and how much they meant to me. But at the end of the day, when I go back to it, I have to go Mean Girls because no other movie has made me laugh, cry, and want to change who I am at the same time. And for a movie to be able to do that to me that's more than a movie, okay? That's a religious experience.
That's beautiful. Amen. I agree. I almost switched all the way over when I thought about Amy Poehler's nipples being chewed on by the Chihuahua.
Oh my God.
Or was it a Yorkie? Anyway, both movies are incredible, but I just think Clueless is timeless and it will live on forever. And God, I just wish I was a part of that world. And Paul Rudd, you give me a call.
I wasn't switching nothing. I was very much on Team Clueless, although I can appreciate Mean Girls and everything that it has done for pop culture and women, which I learned some new things today. To me, Clueless is just that girl. If I had to choose between which huge life-size poster I could have in my bedroom, I would choose Clueless. And it's funny because I did.
Oh my God, we didn't even talk about how beautiful the cover is
The
and
cover
how good the music
is iconic.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Mean Girls just can't duplicate.
They didn't.
that
The marketing
kind of,
supplies not as good.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
That's my
and
movie.
guess what? You're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah.
Damn
Yeah.
right.
Honestly,
Here on Rivals.
Honestly, I am Courtney, we're the same on this. I never flip-flopped for a second. It just is so different for me personally. Like, I love Clueless, but it could never hold a candle because this is like a comedy Bible, and that's how I feel about it. So
if you want to learn more about all things 2000s, we did a Lizzie McGuire versus That's So Raven episode, and you can check that out right here. Make sure to follow and subscribe. Follow us, just not to our cars. Bye.